everyone. Adrian from Audio Excellence Canada. That's Vilip, my friend.
We're going to edit this. It's going to be like about 5 seconds.
And Jerry behind the camera. First, let me apologize. We've been really busy over the last little while, so this is our first video in quite a while since I guess we did our first impressions of the XVXs behind me. And I've been meaning, it's one of my priorities, I've been meaning to continue to tweak them a bit more. And I just really haven't had the time. I need a block of a few hours where I won't get interrupted. I just haven't been able to get that time. So hopefully next week. And the irony is that this is all during the quote-unquote lockdown. Ontario right now, we're not allowed to see clients within the store. So in theory, we should have lots of time, but I don't know where my time disappears. I've got a to-do list every day that's just going longer and longer. And, you know, right after we do these 2 videos, I got to scoot downtown to anyway, you don't want to know about my headaches. So anyway, apologize. We'll do a few more videos. We'll do 2 today, and then next week we'll do another one. To come, by the way, we're going to be doing the Mcintosh MA12000. I've been wanting to do it, but then we ran out of stock. We had a whole bunch come in, and they all got sold instantly. And then this last shipment came in.
Yeah,
2 shipments came in.
So the first one came in.
Yeah.
And
the same day.
A little preview.
Yeah.
And we had it running on the Friday. I
Yeah.
unboxed it.
Yeah.
We ran it overnight. Came in the morning, listened to it. It was, well, you'll see. You'll hear. And then I had a client come in who had been looking forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
Len.
Yeah.
And he listened to it for like 5 minutes. He says, that's the one.
Yeah.
And he took it away.
And poor Jerry had to deliver it. The thing weighs like 150 pounds.
So, and then another one came in, but that was immediately sold. And then
Yeah.
the factory said, well, you know, we don't have any more.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a while. And then they finally all showed up just recently.
Yeah, so we finally managed to unbox another one, and we've been trying to run it. And so hopefully we'll be able to do a video of that early next week and upload it. So that's the MA12000. Just to also let you know, I'm planning more interviews with our industry celebrities, luminaries. So watch out for that as well. I'm organizing them as we go along. Today, for this video, we're going to do the long-awaited, at least for me, the Mcintosh C8 preamp, and then we're going to compare it to the C22. So both are tube analog preamps. In other words, they don't come from the factory with a digital converter, although with the C8, you do have the option of getting the DA2 digital module. So let me go through some of the specs first. It's $3,500 US, 5 analog inputs, 1 balanced, 2 unbalanced, and 2 phonos, 1 MMMC. By the way, Jerry will add a link to the original unboxing of the C8 in the description box. Adjustable loading for phono, 412AX7As. Headphone amplifier, bass and treble control. The inputs can be renamed. So, you know, for example, you can name it as a CD or a server, or, you know, if you have a turntable called Project, you can, you know, name that. There's a home theater pass-through, which is very cool. This way, if you've got a surround sound processor or a home theater receiver, you can add it through the C8 preamp. It's got 1 balanced outputs, 2 pairs of unbalanced outs, and one of the unbalanced outs can be configured as subwoofer outs as well. So if you've got subwoofers, you can connect to it. It physically looks similar to the MC275, just a bit smaller.
Or the MA252.
Right, yeah. So, okay, Vilip, take it away.
So I had it in the room, and I use all sorts of tricky stuff on it because I have Nordos stuff here that I wanted to try out, and eventually it helped me.
Oh, we should talk about the system we connected it to, and just so you know, it's crazy.
Well, it wasn't that crazy at the beginning because it was more modest. It was. Yeah. I listened to the C8 originally with the 1502 in here, MC 1502, and a pair of Sonus Faber, the luminaries, the new ones, which are quite good.
And Jerry will insert pictures so you get a sense of what he's talking about.
I mean, that's a nice modest system.
But
with
modest. 1502 is like crazy money.
But this is what, a $11,000 US dollar amplifier, and the speakers are about 20. So that's still under $50,000, and the preamp is only
well, with inflation, 50,000 means nothing these days. Go ahead.
No, nothing. So I had Nordos stuff hooked up into it, so I didn't really listen to it too carefully. I was just trying to break everything in, and then of course everything changed, and we swapped everything around, and then these Chronosonics happened, and so when I put everything back together, knowing that the preamp is now broken in. I decided, well, listen to with the XVXs and the D'Agostino. So really I compared it to the D'Agostino preamp, which is not actually on right now.
So the only system in the world
yes.
where the C8 will ever be inserted
yes.
into a D'Agostino monoblock amps and the XVX.
So we're talking about
insane.
Maybe one of the most expensive systems you can buy, and you can actually imagine. And the XVX is a speaker I really love.
But explain why. I asked you when you told me that it was connected here. I asked you why. What did you say?
Because I'm extremely lazy. No, because everything was already here.
Right.
And I wanted to hear it with something that would definitely tell me if there was anything amiss
right.
or deficient, and if anything, the XVX will tell me how good it is, because it will reveal everything.
Right.
And that's what it did.
Yes.
So I'm listening and I'm going like, wow, this is really good. It's not really missing anything. I mean, it's a very inexpensive preamp for what it is.
Yeah. 35 US, yeah.
Considering what's available these days, it has the Mcintosh DNA for sure. The mid-range is quite beautiful and smooth and slightly warm and rich. So it follows, like, if you listen to any Macintosh stuff and you know Macintosh, the C8 is definitely a Macintosh piece. That's very apparent right from the get-go. It didn't seem like it was $3,500 piece. It sounded like their $10,000 or $8,000 preamp. I always get the U.S. and Canadian pricing mixed up. Certainly, the differences I heard between the C8 and the C22 were minor. Now, definitely the C22 is better, but for all the reasons that you can easily discern, because the C22 has a much bigger power supply, has a better power supply. That makes a difference. We definitely know that. So when you pick up the C8, it's not that heavy. It's quite light. The chassis is not as rigid. So they built it to a price. It's a very beautiful looking piece. It actually, in some ways, looks better than the offerings up above. But in terms of sonics, I really didn't hear that much of a difference. Where it's a little bit less, I wouldn't say deficient, it's just less. It's less of what Macintosh does well. So the mid-range is totally beautiful. It was very dimensional. There was a velvet, smooth, liquid quality
just
to it.
Just don't use that O word.
I don't use the O word.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Orgasmic.
So when I was playing all my music, it just sounded like Macintosh, which is amazing considering, this is almost just over half the price of the C22. And I would believe those circuits would be very similar. Where it's not as good is definitely bass extension is not as good, because obviously the XVX will really show that. But at the same time, I heard a lot of the similar things. So there's enough mid-bass energy for you to really, really enjoy this. And the soundstage was big, and there was pinpoint imaging within, not as focused as the C22. So the C22 is just more refined with deeper bass, and just a little bit better sorted out. But you certainly, when you listen to the C8, you don't miss anything. And at this point, when I did the test, or when I did the listening time with it, I didn't have any extra things on it, like all the Nordos Q point stuff and those enhancements. Which
all the toys.
Help. All the toys. And I remember thinking, just the other day, I remember thinking, wow, it doesn't really need any of that. It just is a really nice little preamp. And I have a lot of clients who are calling, asking me about this, and I've been putting them off, saying, well, I haven't had really a chance to listen to it, so I don't want to, color your perception too much. But I'm going to color it now. It's a really fabulous preamp. I really, really, really like it. You can definitely start with this, and you might not end up beyond this point. I mean, Mcintosh has actually, I think, done itself a disservice because it's a very good product, and there's no, for the majority of people, they have no reason to go beyond this. It's that good, in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure you can elucidate it a little bit better.
So, I heard it a little bit when we first got it, but it was during the break-in process, and I was very impressed. I was obviously hoping that this would be a home run because for the longest time now, all of us have been waiting for a more affordable...
the C220 replacement.
That's right, something like that. And so finally, when this showed up, I thought, oh, great, finally, something that for a lot of people that cannot afford the higher models, this will slot in. And my fingers were crossed, hoping that this would not be a disappointment. Then over the last couple of days, I listened to the C8 much more. And so again, when I saw Vilip had hooked it up to this ginormous He-Man system, I thought, what the hell is he doing? And then when he explained, I want to hear everything that it's capable of, I thought, yeah, that's actually a fair point. So my first impressions this morning, very early when I listened to it, was... wow, what a mid-range.
Right, exactly.
What a mid-range. Yeah. It was pellucid, it was smooth, it was three-dimensional. I mean, I started playing cut after cut of just mid-range, just to savor in this beauteous mid-range. It might actually be the most beautiful mid-range out of all the preamps. I'll explain what I mean. It had this, to use Vilip's word when he described the XVX's density, it had this three-dimensional.
Yeah, it certainly had mass to
unbelievable. I was so stunned. But then as I listened a little bit longer, I thought, what am I missing? Because now I had to be a little bit more critical. I'd been listening for an hour and hadn't taken any notes. So I started thinking, well, what's it missing? And I started thinking, I wonder if it's a little bit too dark. It's not transparent enough. And so I started playing stuff that may be more challenging. And I did realize that I was missing, more of an open window, so to speak. Long time ago when Harry Pearson used to be the editor and publisher and owner of the Absolute Sound, he talked about he tried to define the phrase, the word transparent that he'd been using. And he said, imagine a window and you can see through the window and imagine if you were to clean the window and things get clearer. And I felt that it was missing a little bit of that. So after listening for quite a bit, I then switched over to the C22. And sure enough, I felt that the C22 was in fact more lit up, more transparent, more clear. But the interesting thing was I didn't think that the mid-range was any better. It was just that it was more transparent. You just saw more, heard more, so to speak. But that in no way took away from the incredible value and enjoyment that I got out of the C8. It compelled me to listen much longer than I had budgeted for time-wise. I will tell you, I'm spent by it. It's, for, as Vilip pointed out, for just slightly more than half of what the C22 is. A C22 is $6,000 US. This is $3,500. $35, and you can get the DA2 module for an extra $1,000. So if you need a really good
installed by the
that's
store.
Right. If you need a really good DAC, you can just buy that, and for $4,500, you're done. It's unbelievable. The C22, you can't buy the module. It's just a pure two-channel
Well, in fact, you
analog
can't buy a standalone Macintosh DAC for
Not
under
anymore,
what the
35 US or whatever it is,
yeah,
3 US. And I think they're discontinuing the
well, the D150 discontinued.
Yeah,
so only the D1100, which is actually a really good DAC,
Yeah.
but it's not $1,000.
Yeah. So, you know, as Vilip pointed out, Macintosh may have done themselves a big disservice or cut themselves off at the knees by producing the C8. It's, you know, home run all
It's
the
a
way.
home run. Every bit of that mid-range performance, which is so crucial because voices are in the mid-range, it does amazingly well. It's really good.
So privately, when we're talking about, you know, our reminiscences of, is that a word? Reminiscences of old audio back in the 90s when things were reasonably affordable, you know, things like tube preamps that you could afford to buy back then, you know, and the names that would come up would be like the MFA,
MFA Magus,
the Audible Illusions,
Yeah,
right? Those were like $1,500 Canadian back then or thereabouts, $1,800, whatever it was. Well, you know what? And I used to think to myself, well, you know, if one of these days we get one traded in, I'd just keep it. If the guys don't swap in, you know, swipe it from me before I get my grubby hands on it. Well, you know what? With this, I wouldn't even think about it anymore because, you know, when you factor in inflation, you know, 20, 30 years ago, and what this is a lot better, more transparent. It's not quite as slow, not quite as syrupy as those units were. Much quieter.
It's warm, but not without
right.
being romantic.
That's right. Well, it's got that romantic sense, but without being slow like the old CJs, right? Mm-hmm. And it's got an MC. I mean, the other ones had MM only, right? And those were, when you got a good one, they worked really well, but they were not all that consistent. Some ones that you would get would be well built and others were not so good.
So the other really amazing thing about this preamp, as with actually all Macintosh preamps, but you don't expect it at this price range, is that it is dead quiet. Yeah. It is black in the background. The noise floor is very low considering it is a tube preamp. Yeah. Now, albeit it doesn't use a tube rectification, which a lot of people actually prefer, but it is a full-blown tube preamp.
At the end of the day, if it sounds good, you know, you could use anything as far as I'm concerned. I don't really care what it uses as long as it sounds the way it's supposed to sound or what you're looking for. So, yeah, I'm totally thrilled by it.
Well, they should sell them by the bucket load.
You know, it just occurred to me, we might have strategically made a mistake. We're saying how good this thing is, and we haven't received more shipments. And we ordered a bunch of these.
We do have one extra in stock.
But, you know, God forbid, we sell that and we're back ordered like the MA352s and the MC901s for your client. Macintosh is having an incredible year, ironic given the shutdown. But because of the shutdown, the supply chain, the logistics of trying to build, and couple that with huge increase in demand when people are staying home and, you know, they want to upgrade their systems, they're having a heck of a time supplying all of the purchase orders that they're getting. And my gosh, you know, if this video turns out that people end up buying this preamp in droves, we may not get.
No,
right?
Yeah.
It's like the Magnepan LRS. You know, we've been waiting for months for our purchase orders, and finally got an email from the factory a few days ago that one of our POs is finally coming, and that's all spoken for, and so is, you know, most of the next one as well. So I hope this is not the same case. I hope they've got lots of C8s in stock.
So shout out to my new friend Herb. I know you're using the Audible Illusions. This is definitely should be on your list because we talked about it. We've been emailing back and forth, and I just wanted to reserve and make sure of what I was hearing, which was always very good from the very get-go. This is more than worthy. This is more than worthy, and for most people, it is more than enough. Macintosh will not want to hear that, but it is. It just is.
It's
superb. You'll be very happy with it. It's just, you know, again, a very joyful, beautiful.
And it comes with a remote control.
Yep.
It has a headphone output. I don't know if there's anything that you would actually want more from it.
Well, maybe some power amps.
they have a matching power amplifier.
Yeah, there's the 830, which we haven't gotten yet.
Yeah, the monoblocks. But I mean, from a preamp, is there anything that?
Well, plus it's although it's a bit high, it is still it's very narrow. So for some people who are living in a smaller space, it's possible to have a preamp that is relatively small with this setup.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of features, is there anything that's missing? I don't think so.
Meters.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But they'd have to put it on a much wider chassis, like the MA352.
Or maybe they can have like a flip up, like a flip up
cool.
tablet
like
with the meters. Yeah.
A little power panel goes up, and they could do that. I mean, so you'll notice that one of the styling cues that they changed about this compared to the MA252 is on the edges there. Yeah. There's
aluminum
trim, which is actually really nice.
I like it.
Yes, very nice. It makes it a little bit more kind of like formal, and makes it look more substantial.
Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, I after I thought about when I did a comparison between that and the C22, I thought to myself, my gosh, this preamp is so good. What the heck is Jerry doing in the back? We're hearing scrapes and groans in the back. I guess we're getting a big delivery. That's why it's a scrape.
Do we are expecting anything?
I don't remember.
Macintosh?
I know we're always getting more stuff, but who knows?
Maybe my 901s are showing up early.
when they say we're end of the month?
End of the month, and well, that's okay. I don't have to install them until February. Yeah. But we did order those in like early December.
Yeah. Well, I mean, great for Macintosh that they're doing so well, and obviously we also hope that all of you watching this, you're doing well, and if there's anything that we can help you with, and look, we've done quite a few videos. I've never asked, but if you do need our help as far as sales, now we're limited to only selling primarily in Ontario. In some cases, we can sell in Canada. Send us an email, and we're happy to help you out if we can. And by the way, yes, definitely likes. They help the algorithm with YouTube.
Yeah, like our video.
Yeah, likes our videos.
Or dislike it. It doesn't matter.
That's
Either's
right.
fine.
Just make it controversial. Lots of comments in the bottom. Please add your comments at the bottom. That really helps the video get out there. And again, just a reminder, the money we get, we match and we donate to the Salvation Army. So we really need your help to send this video out, share with everybody, and all of that kind of good stuff. So
so stay home, watch our videos, stay safe.
That's right.
And then we'll see you all on the other side.
That's right. Well, I guess we're going to wrap it up. Big thumbs up. I don't have any negatives really. This is just a phenomenal preamplifier, and we look forward to more Macintosh content as well as other content as well. So we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.